Alright, guys, back again with Fuzzy Mud. We're on chapter 36. And chapter 36 is called Snow. Okay? Let me get started. 2 days later, that's 2 days after Tamaya's sight came back, if you remember from the last chapter. 2 days later, the first snow fell. Tamaya still couldn't make out the individual snowflakes, but she was able to see zigzagging streaks of gray and white outside her hospital window. It was beautiful. The whole world looked beautiful to her, even the bright green Jell-O that came with her lunch, with coleslaw magically suspended inside. That sounds kind of nasty to me. Jell-O, and then inside there's coleslaw? Okay. Rhonda led her onto the outdoor patio next to the cafeteria. Wearing a ski hat over her closely cropped hair, she lay on the cement and caught snowflakes with her tongue. It snowed for 4 days straight. Tamaya learned that Marshall had begun getting Dr. Crumbly's injections, and that he was showing great improvement. Nobody seemed to know anything about Chad, and she was afraid to push it, afraid what she might find out. Her doctor gave her large black-framed glasses that were too big for her face. Seeing him clearly for the first time, she nearly fainted. With soft brown eyes and curly hair, he was even cuter than Mr. Franks. "I get all flustered and tongue-tied when he looks at me," she told Monica over the phone. "It's a good thing I didn't know what he looked like before. Everyone would have thought I had all kinds of horrible side effects. I probably would have forgotten my own name." Monica laughed. "You don't sound so scared anymore," Tamaya noticed. "I know. I think it's all the snow. I mean, I know the mud's still there underneath, but everything just seems safer. And I'm just so happy you're almost all better." Tamaya could hear a crack in her best friend's voice. It sounded like she was crying. Tamaya started to cry too, and then they both laughed at the fact that they were crying. They stayed on the phone a while longer, crying and laughing at the same time. One day in late December, Tamaya's doctor was checking her pulse while she watched television. A TV set hung from the ceiling in the corner of her hospital room. She could feel her heart rate quicken at his touch. She hoped it didn't throw off his measurements. Her TV program was interrupted by a breaking news story from Heathcliff, Pennsylvania. Her doctor let go of her wrist and picked up the remote. He raised the volume. A man was standing in the back of Woodridge Academy, near the edge of the woods. He was surrounded by news reporters. The bar across the bottom of her TV identified him as Dr. Peter Smythe. Where have we heard that name before? Deputy Director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. It felt odd watching something on TV that was happening right at her school. Snow was falling outside her hospital window, and she could see it falling on the man on the TV. Tamaya thought he looked more like a lumberjack than a doctor. He had thick, bushy beard and he held a shovel. The man, dug his shovel through the snow and then, with his bare hand, reached down and pulled out a big glob of black goo. "Fuzzy Mud," he said. Ice crystals stuck to his beard, and Tamaya could see his frozen breath as he spoke. "I'm holding in my hand more than 1 billion of your so-called Frankengerms." Tamaya felt all tingly again, watching him hold the mud just like she had once held it. "And I'm happy to report that every last one of them is dead," the man said. "The organism cannot survive in sub-freezing temperatures." Tamaya and her doctor looked at each other. Could this really be true? Several of the reporters applauded, and Tamaya could hear cheers coming from the other rooms in the hospital. "Does this mean the crisis is over?" a reporter asked. Before Dr. Smythe answered, the bar at the bottom of the TV screen had already proclaimed, "Crisis over! Frankengerms, all dead!" Tamaya wondered how they could know for sure. Maybe the Frankengerms were just hibernating like bears. "How do you know they're not simply lying dormant?" a reporter asked, almost as if she were channeling Tamaya's thoughts. "How do you know they won't wake up again when the weather turns warmer?" "We've examined them in our labs. I've personally looked through a microscope and seen the disintegrated membranes. I assure you they will not wake up." Still, Tamaya wondered, how could he know they were all dead? Maybe somewhere beneath all that snow there was one that was still alive. "Of course the CDC will continue to monitor the situation," Dr. Smythe said. "Although extremely unlikely, it is possible that another mutation could have occurred. Somewhere out here, there may be one mutated ergonym capable of surviving the freezing cold. We'll know more after the snow melts." 2 times 1 equals 2. Interesting. I'm interested to see what you guys make of that last equation. Have a great day.